Welcome to Escape to the Country. Although now a ruin, the building behind me played a vital role, supporting the industries that once thrived in this part of the country. So much so that one area nearby was described as being the wealthiest place in all of Europe. So where am I? And how did this region make its money? Find out in just a moment. Today's buyers are turning their backs on a tough couple of years to search for a new family home and business in the country. But let's get our priorities right.
This is the ultimate man cave.
Work room.
Yes. Sorry, work room.
And we mustn't forget Mum.
I don't think we'd ever get Sarah out of that bath.
Where'd you put the wine glass?
Today we're in Cornwall and this is the Towern and Roath engine house, which formed part of the Wheelcoats tin mine in St Agnes on Cornwall's northern coast. Now, during the 19th century, Cornwall was the most important tin and copper producing region in the world, boasting over 300 mines and employing over 40,000 people. Copper production in particular made so much money that in one period of the 19th century, the nearby parish of Gwenop was hailed as the richest square mile in the old world. Now a listed building, the engine house was responsible for keeping water out of the mining shaft 185 metres below. And although the mine eventually closed in 1913, the county is still scattered with reminders of its glorious industrial past. Coastal Cornwall sits in the southwest of England. Surrounded mostly by water, it's bordered by just one other county, Devon. Ever popular with tourists, Cornwall reveals over 300 miles of dramatic coastline, ranging from the popular sandy surfing beaches of Newquay to the rugged cliffs of the Lizard Peninsula, the most southerly point of the UK. Here, the sheltered bays offer the perfect protection for fishing villages like Cadgwith, from where local fishermen still head out to sea every day. One of the county's largest towns is Falmouth. Sitting at the mouth of the River Fal, it lies on the entrance to the third deepest natural harbour in the world and was one of the UK's most important ports up until the mid-19th century. Inland, as well as the scars of the heavy industry that once thrived here, the county has a varied landscape featuring rolling hills, farmland and wooded valleys. With Cornwall offering such a rich variety of countryside, coastline and industrial heritage, it's not hard to see why this region is so appealing to those seeking a new rural life. Property prices in Cornwall are pretty much bang on the national average at around £268,000 for a detached home. And the good news for house hunters here is that prices are still around 10% lower than they were at their peak in 2008, although they can vary wildly within the county. For example, a home in one of Cornwall's fashionable fishing villages on the north coast can cost around 3 times more than a similar property inland. So what is it about this part of the country that has so attracted today's buyers? Well, let's meet them and find out. For the last 17 years, Andrew and Sarah have lived in the town of Tring in Hertfordshire in a 4-bedroom post-war semi.
We were introduced by a friend on a blind date in 1993. Yes,
yeah.
it's 20 years last year.
Absolutely.
And that was it, really.
Yeah. Sorted, job done.
Moved in 6 months later, married within 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Andrew and Sarah's whirlwind romance and marriage led to children, 9-year-old Katie and Alex, who's 12 and just starting at secondary school. The couple feel now is the right time for the family to leave Hertfordshire, where they've spent most of their lives.
We're not running away from this house. We like this house. We've made it very much our own place. What we're trying to do is just find ourselves a different life out in the country.
They've decided on Cornwall after spending some memorable holidays in the coastal county.
We've been going down to Cornwall for 20 years.
Yeah, together.
Together.
I went down as a kid a lot on holiday.
And I used to go down before I met Sarah almost every year. We just love the county. It's a place that we've really fallen in love with.
We've always thought we'd land up retiring down there, but We suddenly had a eureka moment a couple of months ago where we thought, actually, let's do it now. Let's do it while we can enjoy it.
It's a chance for us to start a different type of lifestyle, so we're really looking forward to it.
But their desire for a slower pace of life has been partly motivated by Andrew's health. 2 years ago, he was signed off sick from his job as a marketing manager.
We've had a tough couple of years, and it seems like the right time to do it
It's
now.
a good chance to
we want to start.
make a clean break, really. It's when I was off sick, trying to recover, I actually got into plastic modelling. It was a great hobby to get into because it involved a lot of detail work and concentration, and that was really good for me. And then as I got on, I got more advanced into that, I started to think to myself, actually, there might actually be a business opportunity here.
So their hope is to build a plastic modelling retail business in Cornwall, while Sarah continues working freelance in her civil service job.
I've been in the corporate world for sort of 25 years. Sarah's been working in different industries for sort of similar amount of time, and been there and done it.
And running a business from home will allow our buyers to maintain a better work-life balance.
One of the key things for us is to spend time together as a family.
Kids are both into shows, sort of Amdram type thing, and that's a good way of obviously getting to know new people as well. And of course, parents get roped into helping. So obviously, getting involved with the school as well would be a great way of us getting to know people within the community we find ourselves.
With their house in Tring now sold, Andrew and Sarah are taking charge of their destiny.
Moving to the West Country, moving to Cornwall, will be a dramatic change for the family. It will be a complete reboot, and the idea of being able to sort of start afresh down in that neck of the woods that we love and build something for us is hugely exciting.
Our buyers would like us to focus our house search within a reasonable distance of Truro and Falmouth. I'm meeting up with them in the south of the county, on the banks of the Helford River. So Andrew and Sarah, welcome to Cornwall.
Thank you.
A big move is on the cards. Your house has been sold. You're ready to make a big change to your lives. But I've got to ask, why Cornwall? Why did you pick this county?
It's a lifestyle change. It's a chance to start in a new part of the country where we want to bring the kids up and have a good time.
Now, you mentioned the children. Are they keen to move to Cornwall?
Our daughter's very keen. She's 9. She's very adaptable. She gets on with things. Our son, who's coming up to 13, is he's getting round to it. I think he'll love it down here.
We've had to bribe them with kayaks.
A good outdoor sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we're in the perfect location now, aren't we?
Spot on.
What
Yep.
about the property itself?
Wow. We want at least 3 bedrooms because we really don't want them to share. We'd
That would
like
be a
4 if
nightmare.
possible so that family can come and stay. Our current house is sort of very open plan, so we'd like the ability to do that if it's not that way now, because that's how we work as a family. It's worked really well
How
for
we're
us.
used to it, yeah.
We'd like a big garden if we could, because we've got a big garden now. Kids love having space. We've got a dog. We'd love to get chickens.
The other aspect is we'll be starting a business down here, so we want to have the space to be able to set up the business for an office, for a stock room, a packing area, that sort of thing. So we're looking perhaps for existing outbuildings, that would be great, or some space perhaps to put up some sheds where we can start the business. So that would be nice too.
So for all this that we're looking for,
Yeah.
remind me of your budget again.
It's 350,000 is the budget.
What would be the top mark, do you think?
I'd say probably another 20 or 30,000 we could probably go up to.
OK. Right, well, we've got some smashing properties lined up to show you.
Can't
so
wait.
shall we get started?
We should.
Follow me.
Thank you.
Our buyers have a budget of £350,000, but there could be an extra £30,000 to play with. They're easy on age and style of property, but it must have a minimum of 3 bedrooms. As for inside space, they're fans of open-plan living, and we must account for Andrew's business ambitions, so an outbuilding or office. Sarah wants a decent-sized garden, and they'd like to be located in a village environment close to schools for their 2 children. I'll be taking Andrew and Sarah to visit 3 very different Cornish homes, and once they've had a good look around each house, its price will be revealed. And our final property, the Mystery House, could turn everything on its head. Exciting times, because you're going to be starting up your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll change.
All
Exciting.
change.
I've been ill, so I've been sort of recovering over an extended period of time, and that's been quite a good little bit of therapy.
And do you think the change of lifestyle, countryside, everything that you're craving, Andrew, do you think that's going to be good for you in all senses?
Yeah, the idea of working for ourselves, taking the dog on the beach, picking the kids up, taking them down in the kayak, and yeah, that's the sort of thing I think that's going to work really well for us as a family.
Yeah.
Our first property option is in the village of Carnkai, situated in the heart of the county's former mining region. Overlooking the village on a beacon is the medieval castle of Carnbray, remodelled in the 18th century as a hunting lodge by a local mining magnate, and now operating as a restaurant. The village is centred on the Methodist church and a community hall. 1.5 miles away is Four Lanes, a larger settlement and the location of the closest primary school. Our first offering is situated on the edge of Carnkai and is one part of a complex of former farm buildings.
So here is our first property in Cornwall.
Wow. Lovely. Absolutely. Show me more.
That's always a good start, isn't it? I walked into you, didn't I? That's how excited I was to show you the house. And it is
Wow.
a barn conversion.
Fantastic.
Impressed? Surprised? What's emotions going through your head?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a solid-looking
Yeah.
building. I love the stone. I like the slate.
The good thing is, this area is a proper little community.
Oh, good.
They're not holiday homes or holiday lets,
Okay.
which is something you have to think of if you're going to move to Cornwall.
Yeah,
the plus
absolutely.
is, so popular with tourists. The downside is you might have 6 months without any neighbours, which
Yeah,
can be
no.
a little bit lonely.
You've got to, this place is all year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want it to be deserted or a sort of wasteland, yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look inside.
Absolutely.
Converted in the 1990s, the former barn has retained many character features inside. The main living area is accessed by a glass reception hall.
So let's start off with the living room.
Fantastic.
Well.
Impressive light fitting there
It
for
It is,
you.
isn't it? You wouldn't want to be too tall, would you, in
No.
this room?
Not
We're
really.
okay
That's
then.
not a problem in our family.
Exactly, yes. Might notice at the end, you've got
Yeah.
doors opening up onto a patio.
Wonderful.
Good stuff.
What do you think of the actual room?
It's a nice size, actually. Yeah.
It's long. It's not desperately wide, but long and
But yeah.
but it's nicely proportioned.
All right, it's only a start. We've got more to show you, so if you wouldn't mind leading the way.
No problem.
As well as the sitting room, the ground floor also offers a small study, an office for the business perhaps, and a double bedroom, which would make a good option for guests located just beyond the kitchen.
So, our kitchen. So it's very long,
Yes.
quite a good width, enough for a dining
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. Looks
Looking good, doesn't
yeah,
it?
nice units. Worktops look pretty good, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's looking good. This looks to me that it would be that sort of mission control, that sort of hub of the house.
Yeah.
It's the farmhouse kitchen idea, and that's how what we've currently got in Tring. And put the table in
Yeah.
place here, and you can see the conversations going down the length of the
Yeah.
room. I think it looks not
Yeah,
too bad.
it's-
Andrew and Sarah are keeping their cards close to their chest, but the tour of our ground floor seems to have gone down well. Upstairs, there are 3 further bedrooms, including a double and single for the children, both with wooden floors, and a recently renovated family bathroom.
Now, this is the master bedroom.
Okay.
Behind you is an ensuite shower room.
Okay.
However, because the family bathroom is next door, the current owners have converted the shower space into another rail for their clothes.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful.
Useful.
If you don't want an ensuite, you could make that a little walk-in wardrobe.
You could.
But you do have an additional wardrobe there.
Oh, okay. Sorry, if the main bathroom's just behind us, we don't really need an ensuite, to be honest.
So far, how do you feel about the property?
I
got a
think
nice feel.
It's got some potential.
Not a ringing endorsement, but I think this property is growing on our buyers. Outside, the main garden extends to the rear from the patio sun terrace and includes a decked area with garden shed, a large grass lawn and timber workshop with electricity, another option for the business.
So how would you feel about the business being slightly separated from the house?
No, that's spot on. So
How
that's-
long a commute, do you reckon?
That's about
It's a bit
acceptable.
Yeah, 10 seconds?
Yeah, that's good. You can do a covered
Absolutely.
walkway,
It's great.
So what do you think it's on the market for?
I would go with 335.
OK. Andrew?
I'd go for around 300 because we're inland and a bit further up north.
The asking price is under your budget,
Wow.
Right.
£339,000.
Oh, I was close.
339. Okay.
okay.
Right. It's interesting, to be honest.
OK. All right, well, have another look around.
Absolutely.
Take your time, have a
do.
good explore, and I'll catch up with you when you're ready.
Brilliant, thank you.
Off you go.
Below budget by £11,000, our first property is a converted barn and gives Andrew and Sarah character features and spacious reception rooms. One more bedroom than they asked for, as well as room for the business, and it's close to a primary school.
It's a surprising house, actually, because at first I thought, oh gosh, like the stone, like the look of it. Came in and thought, not so sure, perhaps it's not big enough for us. But actually, the more I've looked at it, I've thought, yeah, actually, I could see us living here. Oh, wow.
This is interesting, isn't it?
Oh, well, this would work really well, because you could have this as a guest room
Yeah.
with a really good sofa bed, but you could also have Xbox room
Have it
and
as a den.
den,
Yeah.
gaming room,
Yeah,
you know.
escape room.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest. The living room is perhaps a little bit compact, but the rest of the house with all the different rooms and the configurations, perhaps take a bit out here, put a bit in here, I think could work. Well, I need to check with the boss about what she thinks, but as far as I'm concerned, this is definitely a contender.
Hello.
Hello, how are we feeling?
Yeah, you've challenged us. You've done exactly what we wanted you to do.
Yeah.
And challenged some of our thinking about whether things could work.
I'm liking that, and that's only our first property.
I know.
Got more to
Gosh,
show
what else
you.
can you show?
Excellent. Well, come on then, let's
Let's
see.
get a look.
Just outside Newquay stands the largest building in Cornwall. At 63,000 square feet, this huge hangar was once home to the Nimrod, the RAF's famous surveillance aircraft. Today it preserves and showcases some of the world's greatest aviation inventions. The classic Air Force Museum at RAF St Morgan houses over 20 military aircraft, including relics of the Cold War, such as the Venom and Britain's first jet fighter, the Meteor. We sent Sarah and model plane enthusiast Andrew to experience some life-size versions. One of the most instantly recognisable is the Harrier jump jet, so called because it uses directional thrust to take off and land vertically, without the need of a runway.
Is that the ejector seat?
No, you ejector seat be above your head.
Oh, would it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With their feet firmly back on the ground, they're meeting the museum's Harrier expert, Ian Raymer.
Don't you find how small the cockpit is?
You couldn't be much bigger than me, could
Absolutely.
you?
You're going to be 5'7" or 5'8".
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
About the right height for
Gosh,
me.
yeah.
Then.
But there's not much room to move. There's so many things to do.
Very little room. And if you were any higher than 5'8", your knee would obscure some of the vital instruments.
Oh, no.
The history of this sort of way of flight with vertical takeoff, post-Second World War, there was lots of interest in having an aircraft that didn't have to use a conventional runway.
Yeah.
So if we think about the Cold War, there's a very good chance that an airfield such as St Morgan would have been badly bombed, would be totally inactive to conventional aircraft. This particular one, built in 1969 as a ground attack aircraft.
Right. Okay.
So it's for close support of troops on the ground.
OK.
This early version of the Harrier was sent to keep the peace during the Belize conflict in the 1980s and later used for training pilots. It ended its operational life at a naval base on the Lizard Peninsula in Cornwall, where it was left exposed to the elements. The museum is currently in the middle of restoring the Harrier to her former glory. Having dealt with the corrosion caused by the sea air, Ian is in the process of painting the aircraft.
This is what we're working on at the moment.
Oh, wow.
There's a large amount of stenciling to do on the aircraft, as you can imagine. So these I make myself, because you can't find them anywhere, you can't buy them. Now, what we thought is, because of your sort of background, that you might like to have a little bit of a go.
Brilliant.
At spraying something on the actual aircraft.
One-to-one scale.
1-to-1, full size.
I'm used to like
Wow.
these little sheets where you spend
Absolutely.
hours. So, that'd be
So here we go.
Fantastic.
There's the paint.
brilliant. Thank you.
Have a go.
With over 80 individual designs to create and paint, it's a labour of love and a chance for Andrew to leave his mark on aviation history.
Right, moments of truth.
Wow.
OK. Right, we'll take it off from this side. Take that off first. OK, here we go. Really carefully.
Wow, look at that.
All your own work. Well done.
Fantastic.
The museum is mainly staffed by volunteers, so Andrew could well find himself back here if we manage to find them a home in the county. And for our next property offering, we're making a short 3-mile trip to the hamlet of Trevar. It's a stone's throw away from Lanna, an old mining village which has a convenience store and a pub. House number 2 is found in the middle of the hamlet. To get the full extent of what's on offer, we're starting our tour at the back of the property.
So our second offering here in Cornwall.
Gosh,
Interesting. Look at that garden.
it's a grown-up house, this one.
Well, it's
It is a grown-up
it's
house.
it's a grown-up garden.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted a little bit of land,
Oh,
didn't
it's
you?
Yeah.
fantastic. And the tree house and the trees to climb.
I know a
Gosh.
little daughter who might be rather keen on the tree. It looks like it might need a bit of therapy, but
It's all right.
Well, she's fine, but what about the two of you? What do you make of the house?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks lovely
it's
and big.
intriguing. Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
what's inside.
So plenty of land, enough space perhaps to put a garage if you wanted
Yes.
Yes, yes.
to. Should we take a look inside?
I think we
That's
should.
great.
Our second offering dates back 300 years and has some quirky features inside.
So do mind your head as you come in. It's
like
a
a little
door,
hobbit door.
a door for little people.
Absolutely.
Because this cottage is sort of 300 years old.
Wow.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Well, luckily we're not tall in our family, so...
No, we're okay.
Don't need to worry. So you walk straight into your kitchen,
Lovely.
which as you can see is sort of divided up. It's open plan, but very much clear that this is the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then you've got the dining area in the second half.
Yeah, that works for us. That's how we've sort of got ours at home anyway.
I think it'll fail the table test, though I don't think our big table would fit there, so might have to treat ourselves to a new one.
Absolutely. We might have to change that. Yeah, no,
Early
good.
days, but a good start, do you think? Or
Yep.
Yes, it's giving us, it's giving us sort of a cottagey feel, which is what we wanted. Yeah, it's lovely.
Brilliant.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's see what else there is.
Fantastic.
As well as the kitchen diner, the ground floor also offers a cosy snug, a den for the kids perhaps, as well as a walk-through study area.
I think this is your sitting room.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, isn't it lovely?
So you have access to your garden, patio doors.
Wonderful.
Right.
So you can see the huge garden.
Yeah.
Now this room is dominated by huge brick fireplaces.
Which is
Isn't it? Yeah.
sort of not intending to be original, I don't think.
I would look at actually taking that out.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
because it's quite a lot of space. A
It
huge
is.
gain, isn't it? Wow.
I like the beam across the top of it. That's interesting.
Yeah, the Bresma beam.
And that could go
You can
against
keep
the wall.
that and put something, use it for something else.
Removing the fireplace would certainly boost the ground floor space. Unlike our first property, all the bedrooms in this house are on the first floor. There are 4 in total, including 2 large singles, perfect for the children, and a further guest bedroom. There's also a large family bathroom.
So upstairs, the quirkiness continues,
Ooh,
low
lovely.
ceilings.
Window seat.
And this is the master bedroom.
Right.
I love the window seat. I always wanted a house with a window seat. It does feel compact in areas, and obviously this room here has got a lot of built-in furniture, which gives you a lot of storage, but takes up a lot of space.
Yes.
I know for a fact that our 6-foot bed would not fit in, so it would be a question of losing some of these lovely cupboards.
So out go the wardrobes along with the downstairs fireplace. But the fact they're already remodelling the house in their heads is encouraging. I have one ace up my sleeve which I hope will convince them, and it's back outside.
So,
Wow.
So what's all this about then?
this is your studio cum workshop.
Oh, wow, this is fantastic.
This is the ultimate man cave.
Work room.
Yes.
Sorry, workroom.
I am thinking business.
Yes,
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking business.
You're thinking
yes.
hobbies and play area.
No business. No, this is great.
This is exactly what we wanted. This is so much better than a shed, isn't it?
This could easily be either the sort of storeroom or the packing room, or it could be the main office where Sarah and I can have our
could be
office
both,
space
actually.
and the packing room. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a huge space.
What a great thing to have. What a great asset to have in your garden.
Yeah, and for a fledgling business to have a building that we can use from the get-go is a
Yeah.
great advantage.
Absolutely solid, watertight, and just ready to go. We don't have to do anything to it. Just move in.
Put some racking in and a desk
Absolutely,
or
and
two.
then we're done.
See, this is an added bonus to our cottage, isn't it?
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
It really does.
Our buyers have already had a peek at the garden, which wraps itself around the house and is mainly laid to lawn.
These are grounds. This is not a garden. It's huge, and there's bags of scope. We've obviously got the fantastic existing building. There's scope for more garden buildings if we need them as we grow.
Feels like a real family garden, but also a party garden, you know, a real sort of social garden.
It's a marquee-sized garden.
It's sounding really positive, guys. So on that theme, got to put a price on it.
I think this is probably 370, 380.
Which one do you want to go for, 370 or 380?
Split the difference, 375.
OK.
I'm hoping it's a little bit less. I'm going to say 365.
The asking price is, Andrew, you're spot on, £375,000.
Interesting.
However, the owners are really keen to sell quite quickly.
OK.
So there is a little bit of a margin there. I think you could negotiate. So why don't you take another look around?
Yeah.
And we'll give me a shout when you're ready.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great.
Over their ideal budget by £25,000, but just within their maximum, our second property is a 300-year-old detached family home set in large grounds. The hub of the home is the open-plan kitchen diner, and the property offers Andrew and Sarah 4 bedrooms, one more than they asked for. A separate studio gives Andrew his business premises, and the house is located on the edge of a village with a strong community spirit and a primary school.
It's a really, really unusual house. Very quirky inside, which I really like. And I really like downstairs. I like the fact there's a room for the children to have for their den, but there's a nice sort of family grown-up space.
Seduced by the grounds, absolutely amazing grounds. I'm worried particularly about the upstairs of the house. The bedrooms are small, and trying to divvy the bedrooms up between the kids, us, spare room, that's tricky.
Have you seen enough?
Oh, I think so.
Had a good explore?
Yes.
So an interesting day house hunting, I feel.
Yes, I think you've given us a lot to think about.
Yes, you two are going to be discussing houses all night, aren't you? And guess
Head
what?
spinning.
Got another house to show you tomorrow. Let's hit the road.
It's the second day of our property search in Cornwall, and with a budget of £350,000, we're helping Andrew, Sarah and family from Tring in Hertfordshire find a slice of rural life in the West Country. Coming up, the mystery house puts the left in field.
It's quirk with a capital Q. It's just amazing.
And I strike gold with the County's classic rock.
Extremely hot right now, so we'll pop it into some water just to cool it down.
Whoa.
Okay.
Well, I thought yesterday went rather well. We gave Andrew and Sarah everything they asked for with our 2 properties here in Cornwall. The 4 bedrooms, the large garden and the outbuildings with business potential. But what will happen if we substitute all of that for a unique house, one within walking distance to the beach? It's time for our mystery property.
So for our final offering, we're heading towards the North Atlantic coast and to the seaside village of Porthtowan. Backed by cliffs and always under the watchful eye of the locals, the west-facing sandy beach is ideal for surfing, and its blue flag status makes it a popular holiday destination. Along the beachfront are a variety of cafes, restaurants and surfing shops. House number 3 is located just outside the village in a rural valley, a mile away from the beach. Andrew and Sarah are sea lovers, and whilst our mystery property is the closest to the coasts we've seen so far, it will challenge them to rethink some of their other aspirations.
Welcome to
Wow.
our mystery house.
Goodness me.
Fantastic.
It's a little bit of a feast on the eyes, isn't it?
It's just amazing, isn't it?
There's a lot to take in.
It's like a dream home, really, isn't it?
What?
Look at those fantastic windows.
This is wacky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I think right at the beginning you said you like unique houses.
Quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quirky, unique.
Yeah.
And that is why it's our mystery house. You want a change of lifestyle. I think what this mystery house does is it embraces all of that. It's a different way of living.
Okey-dokey.
Wow.
Shall we start the tour?
Oh, I think so.
Our architect-designed mystery house is only 4 years old and is very much the product of the current owner's vision. Andrew and Sarah would have to use some imagination to see how it could be made to work for them.
So this really is an unusual house.
Fantastic.
Goodness me. This is very much the core of the house. You can just tell there's everything going on here. There's food, there's eating, there's craft by the look of it.
There's enough space.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But behind me, you've actually got a utility room as well.
Yeah.
Right, that's
But
clever.
it's being open plan, it's all in the one room.
I'd say this is the modern we like. This is taking Quirk to a new level.
There's
A new mystery level.
And I
There's a
haven't
bit
seen
of
it.
bit of design in it though, and
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a sucker for interesting design.
Our buyers appear to like it. Whether they want to live in our mystery house remains to be seen. Perhaps not surprisingly, all the bedrooms in this unusual property are on the ground floor. 3 in total, including 2 decent-sized rooms for the children, as well as an impressive family bathroom.
We do have a continuing theme with this property, and that's the word unusual.
Wow!
I don't think we'd ever get Sarah out of that bath.
Where'd you put the wine glass?
And let's take a look at the master bedroom, which literally is next door. So all the bedrooms are on the ground floor.
That's a fairly big bed. I think ours would probably fit with the headboard at the back there, so that's
Absolutely.
possible. And there's some quite big furniture in here.
There is. Time has come, though, and this is the bit that excites me.
Okay.
Taking you upstairs.
With the bedrooms and kitchen taken care of, that leaves one last room upstairs. And I think I'll let Andrew and Sarah decide how they'd use this one.
Now, have you ever seen an upstairs like this before?
No.
What's going on here then?
Wow! My goodness. It's incredible the way it's done. It's,
Somewhat. What's that?
is that a chair? It's like a mezzanine. Sort
It
of.
is.
That's my study area up there.
You've actually got another bathroom through
really?
there.
Okay.
Yes, because if you have anyone to stay on your mezzanine level,
They've got a guest bath.
so that could be your 4th bedroom. You've got a study here,
Yeah.
and then you've got area for, whatever. Music, dining.
Crazy.
Wow, it's Quirk with a capital Q. It's just amazing.
If that wasn't enough, you've got your own balcony.
Oh no, that terrace looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Goodness me.
Do you like it?
I like the design. The question is whether we want to live in that design.
Yeah.
So we need to sort of keep looking and thinking, yeah, this could work, or crikey, that's too strange. But yeah.
Feels like it would make a fantastic holiday home. But you've got my mind racing now as to how we could do things and make it work.
Well, it's an interesting property, isn't it? It's
Yes.
stretching you.
It is, definitely.
It's stretching you. So we've seen the living accommodation, but we've also got to discuss the business because that's
We do.
equally important. Let's go back outside and see what our options are.
Okay.
This being the mystery house, business options are more limited here. In terms of outside space, there's a parking area we saw as we came in, and the garden slopes up to the side of the property to form a thin strip of levelled off land. But as it stands, there are no outbuildings for an office or storage space for the modelling business. The garden is a bit of a climb, but
It's worth it. It's certainly worth it because look at your property.
Wow.
So although we don't have the business premises here at the moment, could you visualise putting something on this plot?
I think it's less practical than some we've looked at. This house offers a different lifestyle, so it's, as always, another compromise or a blend of issues. So it gets us thinking.
So let's talk money now because we are closer to the sea. How
Right.
much do you think the mystery house is on the market for?
I'm going to make a really, really wild guess and say 345,000.
I'd say 350.
You are both remarkably close. In fact, one of you is spot on. Sarah,
Really?
£345,000 is the asking price.
Okay.
It's certainly a stunning house for the right family.
Yes.
Is it yours? Go and take another look.
Thank you.
under budget by £5,000, our mystery property is a quirky contemporary home a mile from the sea. It offers Andrew and Sarah a modern open-plan living space, the 3 bedrooms they asked for in a coastal village location. However, it lacks a large garden and will mean Andrew would have to construct something for the business.
Mystery House is spectacular. It's completely bonkers. It's wonderful, quirky.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, with quite a lot of scope to do things perhaps slightly differently. I really like the kitchen. I love the terrace upstairs. I'm concerned about the size of the bedrooms and potentially storage space for things.
The problem for me is where we could run the business from. There's lots to think about as to where we would live our lives in the house. That's the challenge.
Whether we could live here on a sort of 365 days a year, I'm not sure.
Right, mystery tour finished. Have you seen enough?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and that's all of our 3 houses, so let's go and have a chat and find out what your next move might be.
Okay.
Okay.
While our buyers may be moving to Cornwall for its stunning coastline and lovely countryside, the county also has a proud industrial past, which has left an indelible mark on its landscape. Although tin mining flourished here in the 18th and 19th centuries, by the turn of the 20th century, due to competition from abroad, it was in decline. The abundance of tin in the area was a perfect material for Cornwall's metalworkers and jewellers, firms like family-run business Wern's Jewellers in Falmouth. Founded in 1890 by William Wern, today it's William's great-granddaughter Sarah Corbridge who's keeping the family tradition alive, and I've come to meet her.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Nikki.
So, a family-run jewellers business, but obviously the jewellery business has changed dramatically, I should think, from when your great-grandparents first opened the shop. I mean, I'm looking here. Would this be examples of what they would have sold in those days?
These are some hollowware items. We manufactured these in the 1930s approximately, and these were made out of pure Cornish tin, as you can see from the marks on the bottom of these.
Now, I've never heard of hollowware before, because to my eye, is that a type of tin or a type of...
No, hollowware basically refers to items such as tankards, teapots, little trinket pots even.
Now, I like this one.
Well, this is a replica of a tankard that was made by my grandfather. It was presented to King George VI on his coronation tour to Cornwall.
It really does sum up quite wonderfully that, you know, the Cornish people are so proud of their heritage, their mining industry, that when a member of the royal family comes, that's what the king is presented with.
Fast forward to the present day, and Sarah is using Cornish tin in a very different way. She's created a unique alloy by mixing Cornish tin with gold to make a variety of jewellery items in her basement workshop. Because the Cornish tin mines have now closed, Sarah has found another way to source local tin.
Now, I was not expecting this. When we were talking tin, I was expecting like a little piece of tin. This looks like it's been the bottom of a sea.
It's really, really heavy as well.
Where's it been?
This has been under the sea since 1863. A shipwreck called the SS Liverpool collided off North Wales some years ago, and it was carrying ingots from Cornwall. It's
remarkable.
A lovely, lovely historic piece of Cornwall. We have to clean all of this up and make sure what we get down to is just the pure tin before we start mixing it into the gold.
The two metals are mixed together off-site by a specialist company and returned to Sarah as small grains of the gold and tin blend. I'm going to try and help make one of Sarah's most popular pieces, a Celtic cross.
What's the next step?
Well, what we have to do now to form a piece of jewellery is to melt it down. So here I've got some 9-carat Cornish tin and gold. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this micro welder here, and I'm going to open the gas for you.
It's like quite a vicious flame there, so just put it straight in.
Yep.
The gas flame heats up the solid metal to its melting point, around 900 degrees for 9-carat gold.
Turn that off. Now that's extremely hot right now, so we'll pop it into some water. So I'm going to let you do this, so it's all yours.
In there?
Yeah, so just drop it in there. That's just water, just to cool it down.
So that's a piece of gold. Whoa.
Okay.
The cooled molten metal is then taken over to a milling machine and rolled into a flat sheet. Crafting intricate jewellery like this is a meticulous process and involves etching the design with a sharp tool and cutting out shapes with a piercing saw, all done by hand. Sarah gives me a head start.
What I've left for you to saw out is this straight line here. So I'm going to get you to sit down.
Right.
So that you're at the right eye level, really, with what you're working at. And I've got you some very funny head magnifiers here, just so that you can see the markings much clearer on there and see where you're sawing.
Oh, that's much. Oh, yes. Now, right. Okay, so
that's
pick
it.
it
If
up.
you hold that steady, see if you can just follow that line.
The jewellery piece is only ½ an inch long, and since I only have one shot at getting it right, the magnifying goggles will help me guide the saw.
I think that's too bad, is it, Sarah?
That's fantastic.
All right. There we go. Hand that to you.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take it away and give it a polish.
After a quick file of the edges and a polish, the 9-carat golden tin Celtic cross is finished off with a customary ring and chain ready to be worn.
Here you go, Nikki, your necklace.
That is quite fabulous. Cornish tin and gold to take away. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Well, Sarah and Andrew have been positive about all 3 of our properties, so I'm not sure what the next step's going to be. Let's find out. Well, Andrew and Sarah, you've sold your house in Tring. The car is practically packed with dog, cats, children, luggage. Have we found you a new home in Cornwall?
I'm not sure. You found me 2 possibilities. You found me a head house and a heart house.
Oh, that's interesting. OK, let's start with the head house. Which one? Because I must admit, I haven't got any idea where you're going to go next.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
well, my head house is the barn conversion, house number 1. It gives us the flexibility of space that we were after. We can change uses of rooms quite easily. It's got a lovely big garden. It's got space for the business. And it's at a good price, which is the head bit. But my heart's in the other house with the garden and
Number
the
2.
studio. Yeah, number 2.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely love that house. I love the garden and I love the studio. The house itself isn't necessarily ideal. I suppose my concern is it's top end of budget, so we wouldn't have much left to do anything else. So could we live in it for however long before we could do something else? So that's the dilemma I'm facing.
Oh, that's interesting. Andrew, what are your thoughts?
Not too dissimilar, to be honest. House number 3, the Mystery House, was fascinating. We loved it, but it wasn't practical for us. It wasn't practical for us as a family or the business. The barn, house number 1, I felt very comfortable with pretty much as soon as I walked in the front door. My one concern, though, is the location, where it is in the county, where it is in relation to the village.
We've obviously got some thinking to do because you have shaken us up and you've made us rethink. I think our initial thoughts are that we might try a bit of a sneaky, cheeky offer on the second place and see what happens.
Oh.
And then take it from there, really.
But number 1, again, could be an offer as well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic news, because I don't want to worry you, but you have sold your house.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
And we would like to go home with an offer in the bag.
Yeah.
We would love you to return home with an offer in the bag. That sounds so promising. My goodness. Well, all the best. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Sarah and Andrew are giving 2 of our properties another viewing, and in my book, that's a pretty successful couple of days house hunting here in Cornwall. However, it does remain to be seen whether they put an offer in on either of them. I'll see you again.
If you would like to escape to the country in either England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, or perhaps even further afield to the continent and would like our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.